right, you guys. So welcome back to MyammeeTV. Today, you guys, I have some amazing girls with me, some great, amazing friends, my FAMU family, and now just sisters in the word of the Lord. So I'm gonna go ahead and let y'all introduce yourselves. Y'all already know who I am. I am Myammee, blah, blah, blah. You can find me all over social media. And the girls. Hey, girls.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Iesha or Iesha, as Angie calls me. We go way back to our freshman year in college where we were next door neighbors, but practically roommates. She's a true ride or die. And we've been rocking strong for a long time, so I'm happy to be here.
Hey everybody, my name is Stephanie. Like Ish, and all of us, we're Rattlers. I met Angie freshman year, 2002. We've been rocking ever since. She has been a light in times of darkness and just a true friend.
Hi, I'm Leeza. Once again, we're all Rattlers, so we all know each other from FAMU. And I'm friends mostly with Stephanie, Angie, and Iesha. I've had the pleasure of befriending as well. And I'm ready to have this discussion with you ladies.
All right, so here we go. We're going to go ahead and just open this whole thing up and just get straight to the point. We are here today to discuss being single in our 30s, no kids. It is quarantine. The Rona has arrived, and here we are. So we're going to go ahead and start with why do we think we're single and how long we've been single, right? And then we're going to go ahead and get into different levels of so many things around our single life, and then we're going to get into coronavirus and the quarantine life and how dating is going to be now moving forward with us. So there's some levels, people. So you guys just sit back, relax, chill, get ready for the conversation. We're going to have a good time. So ladies, how long we've been single, and then also why do we think we're single? Let's start there.
Okay, well, I can kick it off. I've been single for, I'll say, about a year now. Well, a little over a year, because there's that lingering process. And the reason why I think I'm single is because I feel like I've been treating men like they're my husband when they're not. I think I give them way too much too soon. And like the old saying goes, why milk the cow? Well, hold on.
Yes.
Where you get the milk for free.
Right.
Right. So that's my reason.
I've been single for about 4 years solid, and that's kind of questionable because it's a lot of like in and out, off and on situationships more than relationships. And I think it's just because God's timing at the end of the day. As much as I think that I should have been already, or should have had a ready-made family in my 20s, or whatever the case may be, I think it just has not been in timing. And I think also just in general, it's just not, again, I just keep coming back to timing. That's just what it is. Like, I think that my time is what it was supposed to be, but apparently God said, no, not yet.
Not yet. I like that.
Yeah. I've been single for about a year now. I've dated in between, but I've been single for a year, not in a relationship. And I think one of the major contributors to that, outside of God's timing, because our time is not necessarily his, like Stephanie was saying, is me staying in the wrong places too long. So knowing that the relationship is not the one that God would have for me, and prolonging leaving that relationship or ending it. So I've wasted, I feel like, a considerable amount of time in the wrong places for sure.
All right. So I've been single for 3 years, going into this year, coming up by the end of this year, it'll be 4 years. So I'll just say 3 years so far. And single meaning no relationship, no, just single. You know what I mean? But I think the reason why I think I'm single, outside of course God's timing, of course, because I don't think, we just haven't met yet, Mr. Whoever you are, we haven't met yet. but I still think there's a lot of factors that contributes to that, including I don't get approached enough. I feel that people look at me a certain different way and they assume a lot of things about me. And then on top of that, maybe I don't put myself out there enough, and I don't even know what that means. But there's other factors involved outside of God's timing, of course, but ultimately it's really just his timing and my own personal growth. So some things I had to grow and learn about myself, and the things I want, the things I don't want, and just getting to that point. So do you guys think city, state, atmosphere, environment, location, age, like, are those some factors as well?
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I think at least for me, I think age plays a role in it. I'm not in certain spaces anymore where I meet a multitude of people. I'm consistently going to my job. I'm in a building, from 8 hours a day outside of this quarantine situation. And when I'm not there, I'm working from home. So to me, that limits the people that I see. I see the exact same people. It's like a revolving door as far as that's concerned. Location, I'm in Atlanta. And while Atlanta gets a lot of bad flack for that, I'll say I haven't had trouble dating here. Now, I haven't found the one, but I haven't had trouble dating here at all.
Yeah.
That's been pretty consistent. And anytime I'm not dating here, it's by choice. It's like I'm saying I need this time to myself, which I've done before. Having quantity over quality is a thing as well. So
I recently relocated from Washington, D.C. I'm back in my home state of New York. Haven't had much time because we're quarantining, and I just moved here about a month and a half ago. So that. But if I had,
so you actually got, you got right into it. So you
literally, I moved here February, and by March 13th, Cuomo said it shut down. So, but prior to that in DC, dating, I lived in DC for about 8 years, and it was just pretty obsolete. So many different factors, a lot of pretentiousness, a lot of in and out, because it's, the nation's capital. So you have a lot of people that are kind of just very transient. And I did date somewhat, but more of what I would say my more, I don't want to misspeak and say this, but I feel like most of the people that I was actually having a connection with didn't live in DC, and they weren't from DC. They were, outside of the area, and that was just my personal opinion, but it could just be, what I'm into.
Yeah, that could be a thing too, for sure.
Could be.
Yeah.
So I live in Dallas, Texas, and I have to say, for me, dating hasn't been like too much of a problem. Out of most of my friends, I probably date the most. I do feel like there's a good quality pool of men here, mainly because Dallas is like, or the Dallas-Fort Worth area, it's like, we call it the Metroplex. It's humongous. There's a lot of opportunities. We're thriving. We're one of the fastest growing cities in the country, and we have a lot of people that are moving here all the time. So I think good quality men are here. The problem is people touch down here and they're like, ooh, new city, right? They want to get out there, they want to check out the scene. And I don't think I've run into a lot of men that are just really ready, right? They're focusing on their careers, or they have other objectives, or they just want to explore and see what Dallas has to offer. And I think that's like the main thing here. But I believe that there are quality men, but also it's also like a melting pot. So we have a lot of different cultures and diversity, and the African American population is a small percentage. So if you want to date a Black man and a quality Black man that's ready, then it becomes, very hard. Looking for. But overall, I think that there is a good pool of guys here, and to Leeza's point, it's just a matter of getting into the right places to meet these people.
Yeah, that's good. Because even when I just visited you in December, just going out there, like I told you, it was like a whole different ball game compared to Miami. So we all know Miami is like the party city. We're known for our Spanish culture now. Of course, you know about the Black people here, but you don't really know about the black people across the bridge. You know what I mean? Where a lot of us stay. So it's when I went to go visit Iesha, even when went to go visit Stef, like just seeing Black people, more Black people. Even when I went to go see Steph, I visited Steph last year as well. Like I seen Black girls like with natural hair. You know what I mean? Like when we went downtown, just going to get something to eat, like it was just like Black people. You know what I mean? I went to go visit Iesha in December, and we go out, and like the vibes there, like the music and the Black people. And for me, and the reason why I'm saying Black people is because, of course, I want to marry a Black man. That's what I want. Like, that's what I, desire. At the same time, I understand that love is love. And here in Miami, there's other cultures. There's Haitian, even though they're Black, but sometimes they don't consider themselves Black, believe it or not. They consider themselves Haitian. So there's Haitian, there's Spanish, there's, so many other races, other, not
Definite
racist.
backgrounds.
Yeah, different backgrounds and cultures. That's a good word. Different cultures. And just going there, experiencing that, I was just like, Miami is really, we're tripping. And the Black people that's here, there's like literally this many.
Wow.
Am I out and about? Like Leeza said, like going to work and coming home and doing a lot of work from home, even before quarantine. Like before quarantine, I was already working from home, or I scheduled myself to go out when I needed to do real estate work. But outside of that, I'm home. I don't party as much as I used to. And if I do, it needs to be like how it was like in DC or in Dallas, like real chill spots with jazz and vibes and stuff like that. We don't have that here. So again, when I said earlier about not putting myself out there because there's really not too many things I can do, I go to the beach. But we got tourists out there in the beach. So people are coming here, guys are coming here, and maybe they're just out just to have fun. Maybe they're not looking at all for life. They ain't looking at starting a relationship. Miami is a city just to come and have fun. You come and do your thing and then you leave. So I think that's one of the reasons as well too. And our locals, not all the locals, because I'm a local, so I can't say that. Girl, it ain't that many. You feel me? So I understand. My man may just be out of town, and I think this quarantine thing may be a great thing for that, because now getting into the whole different phase of dating, the way of dating. Who knows? We could just run into each other somewhere online. I don't know. But anyway, so let's jump into what others have said. The reason why we're single.
I've had some of my sentiments echoed by people in my personal life, just staying in the wrong places too long, which gave me confirmation. But a lot of times, especially when you have a relationship with God, you know when you're in the wrong place. He'll tell you time and time and time and time again. So I was aware of the time, but I don't think I understood the consequences of that until after. So, you're there and I'm prolonging ending the relationship, even though things aren't working out. And I'm not thinking about how this could potentially block my husband from having access to me or the person that I'm supposed to be with. As well as that time is passing, every year we all get older. That doesn't change. And because of that, like we were talking about before, as you get older, the spaces that you occupy are different. You know what I mean? And for me, I'm like very routine. I try to kind of like get out of that. But I'm extremely routine. I go to work, I go to church. Like this is every week. You can depend on me being in at least those two places. And in those two places, I'm seeing the same exact people every single day, most of which are already married, have families. You know what I mean? Like I'm occupying spaces where I'm not meeting a lot of other single individuals in general. So that's another item that I've gotten feedback on, is just kind of like, well, where are you at? You know what I mean? Like, where are you going where you would potentially meet that person? So I would definitely say the places that I occupy is one big one, and then also the time that I've wasted in prior relationships pretty consistently.
People have said that I need to have clearer intentions from the beginning, because oftentimes, you'll meet somebody and be like, oh my gosh, he's checking off the boxes, right? And it's like, but is he really? And even if he is, like, you got to put up on the other side, of that column, there are going to be flaws that come, and you have to have, your antennas up for those type of situations, even if it all feels good, it looks good, it smells good, all that. So I definitely say, directing my intentions better, and, to piggyback off of Leeza, just being able to know when, like, your intuition has already told you, like,
Yes.
this doesn't feel right, something isn't, something's going on, and you got to listen to that spirit that's inside of you that tells you, like, you should just stop at this point.
Yeah.
And oftentimes, we're just so, especially with us being in our mid-30s, we're at the point that we're like, well, no, like, this is God, right? And
Sorry, but it's true.
he ain't answer. He like, nah, this you, boo. Like, this all you.
It's all you.
And I, those, it's just being more intentional that people have said. We know a lot of people, right? We know we went to school with like hundreds of thousands of people, but sometimes our blinders are on, because we have this type and whatever the case may be. Sometimes it's just getting out of our comfort zone. So people have said that. I'm like, very similar. I'll mirror, the same thing Leeza and Angie said. When I was in DC, home, work, home. If I was going out with my friends, my girls, or whatever the case may be, it was the same group. Some of them are already married, or like already dating. Like, it wasn't really a plethora of like me just
Single.
Going to different events and stuff like that to meet people. And it could have been like every now and again, but all in all, I think it's just also getting out of, my own way and maybe focusing on everything else that I should be focusing on and letting him find me.
I like that.
Yes, ma'am.
Pull out a notepad because I got a list.
Come on, Iesha.
Well,
Yeah.
tells me that my picker is off. Like the men that I pick they just don't measure up. Another one says that I need to guard my heart. I put too much out there of myself. I've also heard, I had ex ones tell me that I was like officious, which kind of lines up with why I think I do too much when I'm dating. Like, and I treat men like my husband. He said that by me like stepping up and just trying to do things and make things work, that it's annoying in a sense. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't give the man the opportunity to really pursue me and date me the way that he wants to. So, I mean, I can go on and on with that list. I do want to touch on something that Stephanie said about the blinders and how there were so many men at FAMU. I think when I was at FAMU, I had two boyfriends in college, one my freshman year, one my senior year, and the one that was in my senior year. I really liked him, and we were great friends. And so the whole time I was in college, I just felt like I always had something going on. So I didn't have time wasn't exploring the other men that were out there, or even giving anybody like really a chance. And looking back, if I could go back, I would definitely have taken the time and dated more at FAM, because I believe there was some good quality, folks there, men there.
Okay. And they say you're most likely to meet your person in college.
So.
We should have taken more trips over to the engineering school, architecture.
For real.
Girl.
I was definitely an Iesha. Stephanie can attest to that. I was off in my own world in relationships and kind of like isolated myself from the social environment in school. So Iesha, that was a good point.
Yeah. So because you guys touched on a FAMU thing, for me, I was kind of like Iesha. Like, I came to FAMU already in a high school sweetheart relationship, right? So my freshman year, I was already in a relationship. So anybody that I even met, it was just like, boop, I don't see none of y'all. I'm dating, like I'm in love. I'm with my future husband, and none of y'all dudes, I'm good, right? So after him, I got into a different type. And that different type was the Myammee way, right? He had to look a certain way. He had to talk a certain way. He had to be a certain way. And honestly, that look for me was only from Myammee. There was nobody else from FAMU who looked like that. So it just weed out everybody else. Like nobody else measured up to the look that I had in mind that I thought that I was attracted to. Thought I was attracted to. It was at the time. At the time I was. So eliminating a whole group of men, like out of the whole school, if you didn't have this look from Myammee, none of y'all measured up. So I already deleted all of the guys, and I don't know how they came off in front of the guys. I just know I've always been told I've been very strong, and I've been very, it doesn't look like I'm approachable, or I don't give people the time of day. I get a lot of that, and it's just like lately I've been, not lately, like recently, but like within the last year, I'll say I've just been thinking about like, what is it that I'm giving off? Because is it something I'm actually giving off, or it's just something that people are just intimidated by? And again, like it's crazy because looks do play a big part for me. I had one of my friends tell me before, which I was like blown away, and this was like some years ago. She was just like, I thought you would have been the first one married and the first one to have kids in our whole group of friends. And I was like, why did you say that? Like, why would you say that? And of course, it goes off of straight of looks. And it's like, that has nothing to do with it, because me as a person still oversees all of that. We all know, like, I'm like two-sided. So I don't care how I may look to people. I'm totally the opposite of what people may think I look and act, or I don't know. You know what I mean? So I guess for me, people seeing me just, I'm standoffish. I really don't know where that comes from, because I feel like I'm such a cool person. I feel like I'm such a down-to-earth person. I feel like me and a guy could be really cool friends, because I'm like low-key like a tomboy in a lot of ways. But it's just like, I don't know. But that's what I've been told. So to keep up my stuff on track, because I'll be all over the place. So to keep myself on track, what have I been told? I just been told that, like, it's just, you don't give people the time of day. You don't give enough guys a chance. And it's like, what are guys at to give them a chance? Because I don't get approached. I don't get approached enough. And the ones who are bold enough, they just not for me.
They just bold.
Yeah, but it seems like the bold ones are the ones you wouldn't really want to like actually date in real life. Like, I don't know what that's about. That's so weird to me.
Isn't it weird? And I had a friend say, well, they don't have nothing to lose. And I'm like, what do you mean? So the guys that I've seen that are kind of attractive to me in a lot of their ways, they got something. What do they have to lose? What, their ego? Because I just don't understand. I just don't understand.
It has a huge part to
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
It's not something that everybody can take very easily. People process rejection for years, you know?
Yeah, it's true.
I think that's a big part, especially when we're talking about our Black men.
Yeah.
And I think that social media is playing a role in people not having that face-to-face interaction like they used to as well, because I feel like men feel like they don't necessarily have to approach women out because they're meeting women virtually all the time. You know what I mean? Like, you have the dating apps, you have Instagram, you have Facebook. There's so many other ways for men to connect with people and kind of soften the blow, I guess, if they are rejected, that I feel like it's minimized and decreased the likelihood of them doing that out in the world when you're face to face or in their presence. That's just my assumption. I definitely feel like social media has contributed to putting a barrier up to that.
Like Iesha, she pointed on, it's just not enough there's not enough guys out here who are ready, right? They're good to date, they're probably good to talk to, but maybe they're just not ready, and ready meaning going to the next step, which is dating with purpose. So I guess my next question would be, even though we realize that there's a lot of guys probably not ready that we just haven't run into yet, what is it about us that makes us now ready? Are we really ready ourselves? and how are we preparing ourselves to open up ourselves to be ready to match that guy who actually is ready to go. Because if we run into him, if he's ready to go, are we really ready to go?
I'm almost there, but I think I need a little bit of time. I did just get out of a breakup, and right after my breakup, or during that lingering process, I met someone that I really, really liked, and he ended up teaching me what I did want in a man. Like, he helped seal the deal, like, and end up in a lot of different ways. He was awesome, but I told him out the gate, hey, I'm not ready for anything or whatnot, but we can date. And he said, oh, well, that's perfect. So we had this awesome relationship. And then I got to the point where I'm like, I really like this dude. I really wouldn't mind being with him. And only for him, he still wasn't ready at that point, but great guy. And we had to cut things off, right? So I'm ready. I feel like I'm ready, but I can give myself a little bit more time to unpack some of my baggage and get rid of some things. You know what I'm saying? So that I don't carry those things into the next relationship. So I'm just really want to take some time to woosah and analyze things and really think through what my next steps are. Because I mean, like we all think we're good catches, and I just want to make sure that I'm ready and I bring it all to the table.
I can go next. I think I'm ready. I think a lot of times, sometimes we question our readiness because we're not there yet. We're not actually in a relationship that's leading towards marriage. But I definitely think I'm ready. I think that I've questioned my readiness in the past, but I think me questioning it was contingent upon the person that I was connected to at the time, the person I was in a relationship with, and his lack of readiness started to make me question my own. But after I left that relationship, I realized that I was ready and he just was not. That was just the reality of it. So there was nothing for me to question in that regard, because had he been ready, we would be married at this time.
Right.
So, and he presented himself as a ready man. And then of course, throughout the course of the relationship, I discovered that that's not exactly the case. The other piece to that is basically like, I feel like I'm preparing on a daily basis, and I've even started praying for my future spouse, and not praying to just to receive him and to know him and identify him when he comes along, but I pray for his readiness. Because going through that experience with somebody where we had come into the relationship with the intentions of getting married and getting a home and having kids and all that other kind of stuff, and then not panning out that way, I want to make sure that I'm not just meeting a representative of readiness the next time.
Yeah.
Because he definitely had me convinced that he was ready, and he literally just was not prepared for everything that came along with saying that I'm going to be with this person for a lifetime. So I definitely have been intentional in my prayers, just praying that that person is really ready, and that they have the capacity to go through the ebbs and flows that we're going to go through naturally in a relationship in general. But to answer the question, I do think that I'm ready. I think it's just about meeting someone to match my level of readiness.
To match your fly, girl. I get it. All right, Steph.
I am not ready yet. I'm not ready today. I think I'm about 75-ish% there. Similar to like what Leeza said, I'm in preparation phase. You know, even in this quarantine time, this has given me ample opportunity to reflect and just realize that there's a lot of giving of self that I have to get used to, because there's a lot of compromise and just sharing and things of that nature that, you know, I have to get ready for. And just preparing in general to be, I think Iesha touched on something about like always being a giver. I just feel like one of my sole purposes on this earth is to be in service, and that's just to humanity in general.
Mm-hmm.
So oftentimes when I meet somebody and if I feel like there's a connection, it's like go time. It's like, oh, you know, I want to be helpful, you know, I want to be thoughtful. And sometimes that gets to a place where, you know, you probably need to like back off a minute and say, wait a minute, you know your role in certain circumstances and just wait on for a minute. So I think I'm still, as much as I want it tomorrow, I just have to be honest with myself that I'm not ready today, but I'm nearing that place. I've been praying for my spouse, praying for my kids, you know, that are coming in the future, that not just for him to come, like Leeza said, but for it to be a great thing and for it to be a lasting thing, because that's important. More important than the beautiful wedding, more important than, you know, family vacations, is that the marriage is going to sustain through the test of time.
Right. I like that. Some people always say, a lot of people who met their spouses and they've been in their marriages for years, they'll say that, you know, this person caught me off guard. I wasn't even looking for anybody. that wasn't even in my radar. And they end up being together for many years. So to say that, I have to say personally, even though I feel like I'm not ready, like personally and within myself, like saying maybe I'm not here yet and I'm not there yet and I'm not here yet, I think I'm just open to now being ready to really date with purpose and really be open to it, because I'm going to have to grow regardless. So for me, I'm just open. And I've been, like I said, I've been single for 3 years. And when I mean single, I mean like for real single. There's no dates. I haven't had no date night. I haven't had nobody to have no movie nights with. I haven't had like, you know, have I been on dates in the daytime? Yes. I haven't had no nighttime dates. Well, no, let me not say that. I did go to a comedy show with somebody, but that was the last time I went with him. But you know, and I date with purpose, so it doesn't take me that long to figure out if this person is for me or not. But I just feel like I'm open. I am ready to share, even though I feel like I'm not on these checklists of what I think I should be. But I don't want to stop whatever God has for me, and I feel like God will prepare me when it's that time for us to meet. And there's always going to be continued work on myself. Like, I'm not going to come together as this total package in a bow, ready to go under the Christmas tree, as if, okay, now this is my representation to him. Because yeah, they have representations too, that their mask can fall off. I just want to go organically in it and grow with him. So I would never be complete as a person, as a human being, as a woman anyway. So if I have to continue growing into myself and still trying to figure out life, still trying to figure out what I want to go here and how I want to go there, why not share it with that person who I'm just open to and who is really meant for me and who was born for me and who was created for me, and just grow with him in that way. So to answer the question, I am ready, even though I'm nervous, because I'm not the shiny bow under the tree yet in my eyes. But at the same time, I want to just grow organically with him. And that's it. Like, I want to come with all of my stuff on the table. I want him to accept me for me. I want him to accept me the way that God sees me every day, because God knows I'm not even all together yet. But if he can look through those type of eyes and see me like, okay, she got some pieces, but I want to be there with her to try to like figure it out. Like, that's when I'm ready. It's been 3 years, okay? Not because it's been 3 years, but I figured out Angela for a couple of years now. And now I'm ready. I'm put out there, I'm ready, and that's it. So, yeah.
Stuff,
I figure it out as I go. It's just like business. It's like you just figure it out as you go. Even when people get pregnant, like when my mom got pregnant with me, she was 21. Like, was she ready? Absolutely, probably not. Most likely she wasn't. But they figured it out as they go. You know what I mean? I just want to figure it out as I go and just have that part of a testimony with him. Like, child, I was all over the place. I was a hot mess, but it ended up working out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think the right relationship, you'll grow and evolve. Both people should be doing that the entire time, in my opinion. So I think if you can just grow together, find a middle ground to most things in life with that person, then you'll be fine. Especially if it's the person God has for us.
Yes. That's the main thing. If we're ready, and all of this, let's start talking about our 5 non-negotiables and the things that what we need from our future husband.
I guess I can go first. So this was a challenging one for me, because I see non-negotiables as one thing where things that I like, that I absolutely don't want, and then things that are like my standards, right? So I tried to consolidate that into one list or whatnot. So I want a God-fearing man, someone that fears God, a partner, someone that's success-driven, that's like a team player, is ambitious, gotta have a sense of humor, and then someone that is like compassionate, right? And that encompasses having like a mild like temper as well. And I guess I have to say this was so hard to like narrow it down. Someone that's family oriented.
I definitely think first and foremost, religious belief, and not just believing in God, believing in Jesus, but having your own specific relationship with him for yourself, knowing him and walking in that. And then I think that the other four will go just without a hitch. If you truly have that belief system, you truly walk with him as his child, then like the next one that I had is emotionally expressive and available. That's very important, I think, because oftentimes communication is one of, the number one things that, break situations because people are afraid to speak up. People are just, shy about bringing things up. And it's like, no, we got to talk about this. Oftentimes people have things that have happened to them before you met them. And, they feel like, well, I want to leave that where it is. But no, sometimes we need to uncover that, whether that's going through therapy. You can do that on your own. We can do it together. But I think it's so important. And I know personally in two of my past relationships, that was a very big thing. And like, I think Angie touched earlier on like, what is it that I'm like, giving off that is okay to not be emotionally available and expressive? Like, no, we in this together. Like I'm pouring, you pouring. Like that's very important. I think just like worldviews in general, like it's nothing like being in a conversation or being in a household with someone where you feel like y'all aren't on the same page when it comes to things. So I'm talking about, it could be just like therapy, ideology in general, how we're going to raise our children, how we're going to deal with our finances, under worldviews, that can be just a myriad of things, injustices, anything you can think of. I think it's important to just kind of hone in on that. And that also just speaks to being aligned, with your belief, because those kind of go in order.
Right.
And personality / character, I think those are very important. Like,
yes, God.
I heard an expression of like your mate being a room tilter. Like he walks in the room and like, boom, like everyone, like, and that's, if that's my husband. Yeah, I want everybody to look, he's mine. But, you want that, type of personality that can, I have a lot of friends, so I want someone who is able to hold their own, whether it's amongst his own friends, amongst my friends, or, just feel comfortable and not feel like, oh gosh, so many people. So like, he gets lost in that. No, like we all friends, like, we can embrace that together. And like kind of with that character comes, integrity and humility, being thoughtful. I think that's 4, just like family in general. I'm very family oriented. I have over 40 first and second cousins, and that's just on one side.
Wow.
It's important to me that he understands that. I've been in situations where, around holiday times, people are like, oh, I don't do that. Like my family don't get together, or, why are holidays so important to you, and things of that nature. I don't want to have to explain that. I would hope that even if that's not the way that person grew up, that they can, understand why it's important to me. Because I think that human interaction is just important, like for us to like feed off of each other's energy.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
My 5.
I agree with that one. That's a good one right there. The holiday thing.
So I think at the top of all of our lists is basically the whole God-fearing aspect of it. That's exceptionally important to me. And I do feel like it dictates all other aspects of who that person actually is. So I would say God-fearing, but we all say God-fearing, but I need him to have, like what Stephanie was saying, his own personal relationship with God, and I need him to have experienced God for himself at some point or at multiple points in his life.
Yeah.
I've dated people who the cliche thing is, I believe in God. You know what I mean? But what does that really mean? How does that show up in your life? When I see your behaviors and your actions, does that to me reflect a person who is truly God-fearing, who's committed to God, submitted to God, and has a relationship with him? Integrity is a big thing with me as well, because I feel like integrity dictates what is essentially seen and unseen, because I'm not going to be in the presence of my mate at all hours of the day, every day.
Yeah.
So I need to know that his integrity is going with him in all spaces and all places. And humility is like really attractive to me. Like I've learned that over the last couple of years, that a humble man who, has himself together, confident within self, but is also humble, I find that extremely attractive. So that would be definitely on my top 5 list as well. Someone who wants children. I've been in a relationship with someone, and I found out in the second year of the relationship that they had totally changed their mind about having a family. And that was a real big pill to swallow, because prior to that we were, planning a future. So to hear something like that was very disappointing. So for me at this point, I would want the person to at least want children and be open to it. Like, I don't know when I'm going to actually get married. And the reality of it is, as I get older, it may become more difficult to have a family. So I just want him to be at least have a desire for it. That way, if we do have it, it's not a problem, of course. And if we don't, he's okay as well. Those are the ones I can think of. I don't know if that was 5 or not. I wasn't even counting.
It's okay. That's your thing, like that's your things that you require.
Yeah.
It doesn't even have to be 5, but you had some bullet points, so this is about 5, trust me.
Yeah. Okay. Good enough for me then.
All right, so I am Mrs. Bullet Point. Okay, so I'm gonna just try to keep it together. So my top 5 non-negotiables, I kind of went over this a couple of weeks ago, which is kind of crazy, on my podcast, Brains and Beauty ×2, with my girl Shay. So we kind of talked about our non-negotiables right after Russell had came out and told us why he loved Sierra, right? Because everybody thought it was just all Sierra. It was all Sierra prayers, but coming to find out, he also had his non-negotiables that could have X her behind out too. You know what I mean? So mine, of course, starting number 1. Okay, to start in 1, no starting 5, to start in 1 is a confident man of God. A confident man of God, and that's in both areas, meaning confident in himself, but at the same time confident in God and has his relationship with God. So I have to have a confident man of God. He can't just be a man of God. He has to be a confident man of God with his own relationship. Like Leeza said, he has had to have his faith tested on the way somewhere, because you won't understand me at all with my faith if you have never got your faith tested. So that's needed. Who's unashamed of God, to talk about Jesus, who's just unashamed of their whole entire lifestyle, our whole entire being. And of course that falls under, he wants to be a husband and he wants to have kids. Either we're going to birth them kids out, or maybe we may have to adopt. You know what I mean? But he wants to be that family and that provider in that head, and he wants to know, he understands legacy, right? So I'm just going to put all that together.
Yeah.
As a confident man of God.
Amen.
Right there.
It goes in characteristics and stuff like that, but that's my own personal extra things that God knows what I want inside of that. Number 2, I have to add this outside of that, because I've been in relationships where people think they believe in God, but they are not faithful, and they're not loyal, and they're not loving, they're not kind. So being faithful is my number 2. Being loyal to me is number 2. Being respectful and kind and loving, that's number 2, because you can have a relationship with God, but you just lack those things. And I'm not judging you. That's just you and your life. You know what I mean? But for me in my house, loyal. You have to be faithful. Like, period. Like, there's like, without that, I don't care who you believe. I don't care. We believe in the same Jesus, because we all fall short in a lot of areas. But for me, I just can't. Right. Number 3, he is willing to grow as a couple when it comes to giving back to community, like Steph said. I want somebody who wants to come together and do something dope for the community, for the world, for the nation. I want us to do something together, some type of project, some type of nonprofit, like some type of something. We got to come together and inspire people. We have to come together and pour into people. We have to come together, go out and maybe feed the hungry. Maybe we have like a annual something. Like, I want that. Like, I desire that. Like, my husband has to be a man who can put our family to the side for a second and think about others. Like, I require that, and that's it. If you don't have it, I'm sorry. If you're so selfish that you only want to think about me and the kids, I can't do it, because it's other things involved. We are people of God. We have to go out into the world and do what we need to do. I don't care if it's 5 people that we touch. Who cares? It's better than none, right? So that's my number 3. We grow together. We do together. Number 4 is sense of humor. If he don't have no sense of humor, honey, like, there's no way possible that I could even survive in that. Can you imagine being with a robotic man? Like, I just can't. And a sense of humor can fall into a lot of things. His personality, his just so many things. Like, if we having a bad day, if I'm having a bad day, he knows how to pull me out of that. Or we having a bad situation in our life as a married couple, he know, how to, and then myself too. I know I can pull us up, lift our spirits up higher. I know how to get jokey. I know how to be corny. I know how to, that's just me. Like, I'm full of just having a sense of humor. I love to laugh. So if he can't make me laugh, it ain't gonna work. I'm sorry, it's just not gonna work. Lastly, number 5, I said this before, he has to have Jush. Like, that thing about him, like, he has to have Jush. Now, what that defines, like what that definition means, I can't sit here and tell you what my definition is. I just know I see it. He has Jush. He has that attraction that I like. He has a vibe that I like. And I'm like, that's my man. That's
it's that
y'all see him?
The drip.
Come on with the drip. The Jush for me is everything. How he bring the food to bed to me while I'm in the bed chilling. You know what I mean? Like, how he even does that. Like, just Jush. So everything else we can work on, those are requirements.
Other one I should have said, what I meant to say was sense of humor. Anybody who knows me knows I'm extremely goofy. It's not going anywhere. I've been this way since I can remember. My mom can attest to if it was before. I have memory of it, but I've always been goofy. So that person, I don't think I've ever even really seriously dated a guy who wasn't kind of like with those vibes of jokey, can be sarcastic and have a good time. Because I don't know how I would function without somebody who's able to, be a little goofy.
That's it, yes.
Sarcasm can toe the line for me. Sometimes I just be like, I'm not here for it. But for me, it's like there's a certain little line that I'd be like, all right,
Ooh, don't go too far.
You gotta have a good time. Absolutely.
Yeah, for real. Life too short. Like, life is too short. Like, why are we sitting here stressing over checking off these check marks and we not even smiling? Like, laughter is for the soul. Like,
absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I'm with y'all on that. So here we are in quarantine, and the Rona has arrived. Now that we are in quarantine, we are single. We are open to date, and we are open to purposeful relationships that lead to our husbands. How is dating going to look like for us in quarantine? And then secondly, how have we been the last month? How has mindset been? How has just thinking, okay, I'm single, I'm in my 30s, I don't have kids yet. We come across this whole thing about the corona thing. Like, how is life going to move forward? Like, how I'm going to meet him? Like, how you guys' minds been during this quarantine, and what are you looking forward to when it comes to dating now? Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
I think for me, I think the message in all of this may be different for everybody.
Of course.
For me, I just felt God was saying, be still and know. Just know. Everything's going to be fine, no matter what it looks like around you. And I'll be honest, I was really appreciative of this time to just stop. There's no sense of obligation to anything outside of really, to some extent, self in this for me. So I'm appreciative for this moment. I really, really am. I think that it was needed to some extent. I don't like the fact that it came in this packaging, with people being sick and also people dying. But I think there's definitely a lesson in it for all of us. I think it's an opportunity to get to know self more for the single people, as well as getting to know self in God. Just this personal, I've taken so much personal quiet time with God in this that I had never really had the time or made the time for prior to this. I have a relationship with God. I talk to God. I feel like my relationship with God is very conversational. So it's like I'm always talking to him throughout my day, when I'm experiencing certain things, when I'm feeling certain things. So that was already taking place. But just having this moment to quiet the additional noise and just really focus on my relationship with him, I'm very grateful. Like, I'll say that I haven't really battled with the feeling of singleness as it relates to maybe loneliness and all those other, more so negative feelings. I haven't really been dealing with that. I don't know what's to come. But I am excited about when we get beyond this as well, because I feel like I'm showing up in the world and to my future, husband better after this. I've been able to see more benefit in it than I have to see the negatives in it. So for me, I just feel like it's a time to really focus on a relationship with God, reflect on my past experiences, how they've contributed to me now, reflect on things that I may thought I was healed from and maybe I'm not, and just to take these moments to be a better version of myself afterwards.
I like that. That's good.
Well, I have to say for me, I've been taking the time to just do my self-work, right? And master myself. Right before quarantine, it's like right when I ended things with the guy that I was dating. And the first week I had a lot of anxiety because people was going crazy. You see people fighting over toilet paper. There wasn't toilet paper. The store shelves was empty. And it felt like it was going to be the end of the world. And I remember having a thought like, I've always wanted to be with someone that was like a provider, like a man. I always said I wanted a man that could build a house. And
I like
the reason that at the end of the day, at the end of time, I don't care if all this is gone. If it's all gone, you know what? He's gonna get some fences and some wood, and we're gonna make it work. We're gonna build a house, and he's gonna make a way out of it. And I realized I didn't have that, and that, it took me to a certain place. I'm like, man, I don't have nobody to go to if it was the end of the world, I ain't got nobody to rock with me. You know what I'm saying? If we lost communication, if we lost touch with everything, I didn't have that man there. So I had a lot of anxiety that first week. Of that, over time, it went away, with trying to maintain like a healthy lifestyle, get out and bike and walk and just try to get in physical fit. If nothing else, I'm going to come out of quarantine looking right. Yeah. I'm not going to have extra 15, 20 pounds. Not going to happen. But I just been taking the time to do my self-work. I haven't dated within quarantine. I'm not necessarily ready to, like I said earlier, I just want to take the time to work on myself. The last couple of weeks have been a little bit more challenging because everything just seems to linger on. I'm ready to get back out in the world and get to life. But overall, just trying to focus on my self-mastery and tackle the things that I have not been willing to tackle, or running away from, pulling that stuff underneath my beds and out of the closets that I need to get rid of. And I say that metaphorically, So that's pretty much what it is for me.
And reality too, because the closet, you know, I was there.
That reality too.
That's my area of opportunity.
I think going into this, like I said earlier, I just moved back to New York. And so this was not in my plan of action of moving back to a city that I had longed to be back in with my family, new job and everything like that. And literally 3 weeks in, I'm working from home. I'm stuck in this house. And I quickly, like, there were some bouts. I had, like, I think week 1 of quarantine, that first Monday, like when it set in, like, oh, this is really happening. There was a little anxiety, and I had a friend who FaceTimed me and was able to kind of just be like, okay, give me the levels of what you're feeling right now. And then was kind of responding to that in a way that I was like, yes. And I was able to quickly snap out of it. And it just reminded me of, that's a quality that I would like in that person who's able to hush my anxieties. No one is able to hush them more than God, and we know that. But it's good to have that helpmate who's able to be like, you know what? Even in the midst of this storm, even in the midst of the uncertainty and the craziness, like, we're going to be good. And so I've been leaning on that heavy, like, this doesn't look like what we thought it was going to be, but we don't have the answer. It's already written in His will. And
let's go now.
Of this, a better us, or our best us, is what I like to say. Like, I will be remiss. And, you know, we've seen the memes like, oh, if you haven't come out of here with new business and stuff like that. My thing isn't about all of those pomp and circumstance. And that's great if you can, you know, develop some great things and, you know, you can have multiple streams of income coming out of this. But if your core is not whole and you're not recentered and focused and leaning on Him and getting a lot of knowledge from Him in this space, like, I want that for everybody.
Yes.
Amen.
To rest in that, because I mean, I could lose my job tomorrow and I'll still be good because I know He holds, you know, the key to tomorrow.
Come on now.
Part for me is just understanding to be able to rest in that. And I struggle for years, and Leeza could tell you, I've struggled with sleep for years.
Yes.
And what I can tell you is that I have been enjoying this rest, because I have been even in times where, like, I might stay up a little bit later, check emails, you know, when I wake up, whenever that is, or whatever the case may be. But there's a lot of resting going on. There's a lot of just rebuilding. And like Leeza said, again, like, ample time that I've had to talk to God, to kind of just go straight to the throne and connect with Him in a way that I haven't connected in a while, you know, because we all fall short sometimes, you know, worldly things, you know, come before Him. But I think this is a time where we all should be recentering, refocusing, connecting, and just understanding that it's going to be all well at the end of the day.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I have to agree with that. Like I said, before quarantine, I was living like half quarantine life anyway. So just focusing on myself has just been my thing for the last couple of years. Like, just keeping my mind focused on me and trying to figure out what I want out of life, and trying to figure out who I am as a person, who I am out of a woman of God, and who I am in general. Like, how do I see my outlook on life? Like, how is it, like, what is it that I'm supposed to do? Like, what is my purpose, Lord? Like, what is my mission? Having my me time, having my our time, me and God's time, that was already kind of my normal. So being in this quarantine, and even the outlook of how things are going to be, like, what's so crazy for me lately, like within the last couple of weeks, I honestly just been thinking about dating. And I'm like, Lord, like, you know, that's not even me. Like, I don't even talk like that or keep that like in front of my face. So this time I've been thinking about what's important, and what's important in my life moving forward, of course, is my family, is my husband. So for whatever reason, I don't know why, out of all the times I am really, that is on my plate, like that has been in my view, is my husband. And I'm like, where is this coming from? You know what I mean? Like, that hasn't been really my focus the past couple of years. Well, it has been there, but not like there. And for whatever reason, it's like here. And I guess it's just making me realize what's important for me and what's on my journey to come. And for that to be revealed to me so strongly, I have to think of that. Like you were saying earlier, Leeza, about, you know, like praying for my husband and stuff like that. Yes, like I pray for, like, some days I'm like, hey, I hope you have a bomb day today. You know what I mean? Like I you know, some days it's like, I don't know if we're gonna meet today, but that's fine. If not, cool. But I just hope you have a great day today. Or whatever you're going through, I hope you get out of that. But I don't know why that is heightening now. But that's what I'm kind of experiencing, you guys. And that's like a different thing for me. Iesha knows that. I talk to Iesha probably minimum once a week, minimum, right? And my focus has always just been my career and my passion projects and the work that I need to do and my mission and stuff like that. But lately it's just been, how you finna start dating? And I'm like, whoa, sir, like, whoa, feelings, you know, like, where you even coming from?
Whoa, emotions.
Yeah, like, where is this coming from? And it's not even coming out of a state of, I'm in my 30s and I don't have no kids. It's not even coming from that. It's like, hey, you want to go over there, right? You need to start thinking about it now. Like, and on top of that, you're a woman of God waiting for marriage. And this is a perfect time right now for you. Why? Because now you can, like, get to know people from over there. You know what I mean? For me. So, which that leads me to the next question. I don't know how the world is going to be within the next year. But any ideas you guys have, or maybe you're open to now that you wasn't open to before, now that we see how dating life is going to be. And I know some of you guys are not even focused on that, but just when you get there, if we are still in this midst of where we're at now, because nobody doesn't know when this is going to end. It could end tomorrow. You know, that's how God works sometimes. But how it's projecting to be, it's going to take some time to get back to normalcy, right? So are you guys open to things that are different when it comes to dating now? And what are some ideas that you have for other people out there who are single right now, looking to date or actually dating?
Like whatever this new normal is going to look like. I think it's important that, and something that I feel like people in my family and friends have told me for many years is to, if you're focusing on the things that are purposeful for you, he will come.
Yeah.
And sometimes we might, you know, enter in the midst of that purpose, right?
Yeah.
So whether it's, you know, you're doing something, you know, philanthropic with people, or, you know, out, you know, could be a first responder, could be an essential, you know, in the midst of whatever, you know, you're doing. So I think it's important for me to hone in on what I feel like, you know, God is purposing me to do in this time, but also to not have blinders on that this person, you know, could be in the midst of that going on. Because oftentimes, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you how many times my married friends have said, like you said, I think earlier, Angie, oh no, I'm not looking, I'm not interested. I just want to say, I want to do it, and then boom, like he comes out from left field, unsuspecting. And they always say it's easy. It's not, nothing is tumultuous. It's just an easy wave of a ride. And so I'm looking forward to that, and whatever that stands for. I've done the online dating. Obviously, I'm single, so it hasn't worked. But I think it's kind of led me to, you know, like you said, more of knowing what I don't want. And that's something that I can say. So I'm praying that New York City will open back up by June, July. I don't know what's going to happen, you know, because I had plans for the summer. So I want to be outside, you know, and, you know, that's my hope, is that, you know, whatever is going on, and even if, you know, we're still in this house for a couple of months, I don't even know what the online dating thing would actually look like, because obviously to me in the past with online dating, it has been something that it's just like a startup, right? You know, you're just doing that to first do the connection, and then you're going to meet in person. But the way it's going, like, you know, to be completely frank, I don't know who you've been around. So I can't risk my health, you know,
Right.
health of my family members by going out to meet you. Even if you telling me I don't have it, no, sir, you could be asymptomatic. No, I'm sorry. But,
Yeah.
you know, we talked about this before, all of us, that when you meet someone in person, there's something there's vibes that come off. There's feelings
Yes.
Yeah.
when you're in front of somebody versus when you're virtual, because, you know, this can all be a facade, you know, for some people. They put on you put on your best foot forward, you put on your best little look or whatever the case may be. So I don't know. I'm open though. I'm definitely open for whatever is going to look like.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say that for me, this whole experience has just challenged my flexibility on things. So I'm a little bit more flexible. I don't have a specific cookie cutter explanation to give for that. I'm just more flexible now. I used to be like dead set on certain things, like, okay, well, I mean, no matter how I meet you, if I meet you online or whatever, when am I gonna see you in person? Because otherwise I'm gonna lose interest very quickly.
Yeah.
Because to me, prior to all of this, I'm like, how can you build on anything, or how can I get a feeling for if we connect or not, if we're not seeing each other in person? You know what I mean? So now, you know, especially because my video chatting has increased in general with family, friends, everything since this has been going on, I'm a little bit more open to maybe virtually getting to know someone, you know, hopping on a video chat, because honestly, when you're at home, you're at your most vulnerable. Like, regardless of trying to put on a facade, this is supposed to be our most relaxed environment. You know what I mean? So that also gives you the opportunity to maybe have more conversations than you would if you were doing an activity or something that kind of distracts you from having one-on-one conversation with each other about each other. You know what I mean?
Like that, girl. I'm sorry to cut you off. Like, I like that.
Fine.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I was just saying, I'm more open to that. I was not that person before that. It was like, if I talk to you today, we need to meet by tomorrow, or else you can lose my number. You know what I mean? Because I want to see if you are who you say you are. I want to see if the vibe is okay. So I know if we need to even continue having a conversation. So now I'm just more flexible, however it comes, because a lesson that I'd already learned through prior circumstances, but this kind of just confirms that lesson, is that my planning is not always God's plan. So because of that, I need to be flexible, period.
Yes.
Because I've made many plans and they did not align with what God had already planned. And something that kind of like, I don't want to say freed me from some of because I struggle with anxiety kind of on and off about different things. And most of my anxiety is rooted in future circumstances that haven't even taken place yet.
Wow.
And in one of my church groups that we had this week, somebody made a comment that kind of like really stuck with me. And it was like, why do you worry about the future when God is already there? He's already present. He's already in tomorrow. He's already in next week. He's already in next month. He's already in next year. So why would I be worrying about that today and robbing myself of today when God is already in the future?
Girl.
That did something for me. I don't know if it did something for y'all, but it definitely did something for me.
The reminder and an importance of being in the moment, because you already know what tomorrow is all about. So you need to enjoy today. You have to, because today is a part of tomorrow. So we need this today, you to be your best self today, because your best self today becomes a past of your tomorrow. So the more we're able to be present of our day to day and not be so worried about tomorrow, because we already, like you said, we already know who got that under control.
Yes,
so
already.
Let's go ahead and enjoy this blessing of today that he already has granted me, and then make sure I do my best in the day, because I need my today self to help me get to my tomorrow self and be living in my blessings of my tomorrow. So it's just like, girl, thank you for sharing that. Like, that is a big reminder for me. I heard be more present, be your best self today.
Now.
I need you to be your best self today. I need you to continue what you need to be doing, but I need you to be your best self on this road of tomorrow.
Yeah. I was gonna have one more thing I was gonna share with you guys, and I hope I don't start tearing up as I share it. But
Go ahead if you do. Good.
I have a Bible that was my grandmother's, and Stephanie knows how I feel about my grandma. Like, anyway, I have a Bible that was hers, and sometimes I just open it whenever I'm feeling down and just kind of open it to where and read the scripture wherever it opens, or read the little notes that she has in there. And one of her notes that she has in there that like sticks with me on a consistent basis, I probably meditate on it all the time, is all of the flowers of tomorrow are in our seeds of today. So the seeds that we're planting right now is literally what we're going to get out of our tomorrows, out of our next weeks, out of our next month. And that's helped me so much throughout my life. She died, several years ago. And sometimes when I'm just feeling like I'm not where I should be, if I feel anxious about something or I'm worried about something, I think about that. I'm like, this moment is contributing to what my tomorrow is going to look like.
Yes. I love that.
That's awesome.
I so love that. Girl, that's gonna be a quote for me. So if you see it on my page, just know.
Girl, it's on my Instagram right now. Like, if you go to my profile, that's what it says underneath my name.
Well, I'm
like,
spelling it. Thank you, Grandma.
Take it, share it, take it, do it.
Because it's so true. That's why, like I say, that's why I don't like to put it on a pedestal or nothing like that, or put it up there. But I have to enjoy every day of my moments. Like, that's why I'm so focused on day to day and taking one day at a time and trying to enjoy myself the best way. Because again, myself in today, if myself is happy today, if myself is content today, if myself is grateful today, it pours into the seeds of, like you said, my future. So my future's, I already know my future self is going to be grateful. She's going to be content on where she's at. She's going to be so like amazed on where she at, because today I'm already like that. And I work on myself hard, and especially being single, like this is why we're here now, because and talking about this, because this is major as well. The things that we need are top 5 of our non-negotiables, and we and our people, and listening to ourselves, and because that stuff really fuels my future self. I want my future self to be like, Angie, girl, I'm so happy you did what you did. I'm so happy you was cutthroat in certain things, because if it wasn't for you to be cutthroat, listening to your spirit, listening to yourself, we wouldn't be here today with my husband, my family, and my future, and my legacy, and all of this. Like, thank you, past Angela, in 2020. 2019, 18, 17, you know what I mean? Like,
you better say
thank you. Yeah. That is good. Like, girl.
That's so really good. Really, really good. And you said that, and it reminded me of something, just to take it a step further. When we are born with all the eggs that we are ever gonna have.
Yes, ma'am.
So that means that God truly had a plan for us from the beginning of time, because my grandma had all her eggs, and my great grandmother, and so forth and so forth. There's always been a plan. So the eggs we have now are the children that we carry now. God has a plan for them. So why do we worry? He got somebody out waiting on us, to help.
I agree.
Back to legacy. We're carrying legacy and in so many different forms. And it's important that, like y'all all said, like, we got to speak life into ourselves in every second of every day. Because it's easy. This world will smack and punch us down. Like, it's easy, to falter because you feel so inundated with the worldly things. But we know, who holds the key at the end of the day. But that's good, Ish. Like,
that's good. Like, that was good. Leeza, my God, girl. Ish too with the
share.
Girl, see, this is why. See, now I'm not. Girl, don't get the please.
That's okay.
This is why I am dating with a purpose, because this is why he got me the way I am. This is why I am who I am today. And this is why I'm so grateful to be me today, because he already knew who, like, this moment right now for us to be talking was purposeful as well. You know what I mean? Like, just so we can hear those nuggets, just for some people can hear those nuggets themselves who didn't even think about that. You know what I mean? Like, this moment is still purposeful as well. And this is why I'm so grateful to be myself. And that's why it's so important for us to learn ourselves and be okay with ourselves and love on ourselves, because who we are, no matter if we feel like we could have did this better, that, or changed this or that. No, he made us the way we needed to be so that we can get to our legacies and have those births of whatever it may be, to be a part of our story. Like,
Amen.
girl, like who I am today, I have no regrets of nothing. Like, moving forward, I don't want to have no regrets. So I just want to see my future self. I want her to look back at me and just smile and just thank me tremendously and be thankful for, you know how some of us, we don't like our past or whatever the case. Some people may say, I don't like my past, but no, I want her to be okay. I want her to be okay. I want her to be so grateful and so proud of our journey.
Yeah.
I want her to be so proud of the whole entire journey, like the whole entire path. You know what I mean?
We're ascending, you know,
yes.
That's the lesson in it. And I think because, and I have to speak for, you know, all of us, as well as like my other, you know, girlfriends, like we're all beautiful, we're all God-fearing, we're all intelligent, and we're all excelling in different levels. And as long as we continue to keep doing that, we can always flash back and look at our younger self and say, you know, you really have come, as they say, a mighty long way, you know?
Yeah.
I can think about all of us back in 2002, 2004, like we have come a mighty long way. And that's
that. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So many ways.
I was going to say in more ways than one, sweetie. Yes.
Girl. All right. So moving on. That was so good. Oh my God. Thank y'all for that. That was enlightening. That's what we're here for. When it comes to dating outside our race, how are we doing that? Are we open? Maybe it could be a brief answer. Are you open to it? Are you not open to it, and why? If you are, why? And if you're not, why? But the issues around that too. Dating within our race, and probably one of the reasons why we're single, because our population is already 13% of the United States. You know what I mean? 14% of the United States, or 18, whatever it is. Definitely not a big number. So yeah. So
I'm open to dating outside of my race. I don't necessarily know how to get into those environments where those people are outside of the workplace. And I really don't. Actually, I can count on the number on one hand how many guys I've dated from work, whether that's just quickly going to a quick lunch or having coffee, you know, and I really try to limit that. So I don't really know where I would meet anybody outside of work. Well, maybe at the farmer's market too, but I don't know. A lot of men of other races don't approach me. So I guess it's just a matter of getting in those spaces where we're comfortable, and then also making sure that we have some basic alignment on our core values, especially when it comes to culture. So, you know, I don't want to be with someone who is of another race and his family has a problem with me being Black, you know? So that's big for me. So all that said, I'm open to it. I just think that there's some things that would have to be explored for me to fully commit to that.
I would say I'm open to it. I'd be lying to say that I don't have a preference.
Yeah.
But I'm willing, like I was talking about flexibility earlier, I'm willing to put my preferences aside, because preferences are not exclusive to the race. There's preferences in other areas that I may or may not have that my mate may not embody, but that is just a preference. Like, I try not to put too much emphasis on my preferences at this point in my life. And because of that, I'm open to other races. I can't say that I've done it much. I have gone on dates with men of other races, but those are few and far in between. So I'm open to it, because my main thing is I don't want to exclude myself from whatever God has for me, despite what that packaging may be. And I'm just very intentional in my prayers to say, I want to make sure that I recognize it. And I'm not just looking for it to be in this specific packaging. So I want to make sure that I don't have my blinders on whenever that person shows up, even if it's not within my preferences, as far as preferring to be, with a Black man.
I'm definitely open, but God will have to work on the attraction portion of that, because I'm not necessarily attracted to a lot of men that are outside of my race. And of course, that is my preference. But, to piggyback on Leeza, I'm open to it because I don't want to block my blessings. I don't know. There could be someone who is outside of my race and culture that is amazing and knocks off 150 of, my things on my list or whatever the case may be. And I want to be able to be open to that,
Right.
and not just be so closed-minded to feel like, but I love my Black brothers. So my vision, but again, that's my vision, not God. So,
Right.
if I have a choice, Lord, he's going to be Black, but I'm open, I'm open. That's
same with me. Like, I am definitely open. Of course, being down here in Miami, I'm open to the Latin culture. I'm open to even the Caribbean culture, even though I'm like partial Caribbean myself. So it's just like, again, for me, it just comes down to my non-negotiables. And if he possesses my non-negotiables, including my jush, like, we're good. You know what I mean? Like, if you have the jush, we're good. Like, you could be a cornball when it comes to being a sense of humor, but at least you have it. You know what I mean? Like, I could go up my 5 non-negotiables, but no, if he has my non-negotiables and God has created that man for me, and that man loved me so much, like, if he loved me the way I need to be loved, I'm open to whatever race it is. But he gotta have them non-negotiables, baby. Like, if it ain't, what we doing if you don't have my non-negotiables? You know what I mean? And I pray as well for myself. Yeah, and I pray as well that my non-negotiables, that me and the things that I possess are his non-negotiables as well. You know what I mean? So, and I pray I possess those things that he would want. So, and it speaks loud to him when he does meet me and does see me. So it doesn't even matter what race he is, but we got to communicate. I mean, because being down here in Miami, I have to be real with y'all. Like, be real with myself and real with y'all. When they come to me and say, "Hey, mommy," like, and that's just their normal way of speaking. But with the rest of the sentence is such a strong accent. I just can't. Like, and then I start to think about how we gonna be in the house, and then I start to think about how you finna be talking to our kids. Like, I start to think about what we're gonna be doing, because if I don't understand you and communicate with you well, like, we gonna have a problem. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the whole mommy like, I get approached by Spanish men all the time.
I don't understand why she's single. Cuban men in Miami are fine, and they got swag. I've seen them. I was like,
so that's something. Yeah, so that's something I have to personally work on. But at the end of the day, if the communication cannot be clear to me, I just can't. Like, I have. Now, if you like a David Beckham and you have like a little accent, but I can still understand what you're saying,
okay,
we're good. But you can't have a strong accent, or you still fumbling and you don't understand English. Like, that's going to be an issue, because I'm already simplistic when it comes to my English myself. Like, if you can't get to my level of English, like, child, like, we're going to have that's a problem. So anyway, but moving forward about open to race, are we open to the package, like Leeza was saying, a package of whatever man that we feel, Black man, whoever? Are we open to a different type of package, meaning short, tall, big, skinny, finances, teeth, dress code, demeanor? Like, are we open to those packages as well, since we're not even talking about, let's put race to the side? Black man comes to you, he has your non-negotiables, but his physical, his dress code, maybe his career at the moment,
Ooh.
his teeth, his nails. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like what
Angie, you giving a whole no.
You throw a lot
and it's
of
okay. You just gotta answer it. Let's just go. Let's answer it. Go ahead. It could be swift and brief.
I'm flexible.
I can work with a lot of things, but I have to be attracted to you. That's the bottom line. Like, it has to be some level of attraction. Like, you can have all these things, and if your personal hygiene, which should be on my non-negotiables list.
I hope that's like an automatic. Oh gosh.
I cannot do, you know what I mean? Or and then also caring about like your body, what you eat, and I mean, yeah, man, that's. I think I'm open. I'll say I'm open. That's my answer.
Okay.
I think I'm relatively open. I think some of it is subjective because it depends on what we're talking about. There's so many areas to dissect about a person. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't go through all the list of things, but I think I'm open. But I think also because I've dated people in the past who I ended up in a relationship with that I wasn't necessarily immediately like super attracted to. You know what I mean? Like, they could be an attractive individual. That doesn't make them attractive to me. You know what I mean? So I've experienced that where attraction has grown based on personality, how I was being treated. Like, there was all these other things that created attraction for me without me even recognizing that's what was happening. You know what I mean? So I feel like I'm open. I still feel like there's parameters to that to some extent because there's some things that I'm just totally not attracted to, and I don't know how I would essentially get there. But you know, I feel like I'm open within reason. I still feel like there's parameters to it, but I mean, my main thing that I keep going back to is I just pray that whatever is for me, I will be able to attach myself to that and, you know, feel all these mushy gushy feelings or whatever you want to label them about the person that God has designed specifically for me, whatever that may look like. I just pray that I am able to see that that's what this person actually is.
I'm just gonna be very frank.
Go ahead, girl. We need that.
God knows all of our desires.
Mm-hmm.
He knows my desires. He knows my desires. I'm just gonna lay it like that. Teeth are very important to me. It's a
Really?
yes.
Teeth
can be fixed though. That's my thing.
They can, but you also have to, like, it has to be important to you though, and that's the difference. I've met certain people that's just not of importance to them. Like,
yeah,
is a like the first thing we see. So, and I'm not saying that it can't be fixed. Yes, it can. Clothing doesn't matter to me as much as long as you have the swag, and if clothing could be tweaked, that's pretty easy.
Yes, God.
Yeah.
Height, of course, there's a preference. I'm like, it's a preference. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not gonna limit myself either. I would prefer, you know, over 6 feet. But, you know, a little 5'11", I'm all right, you know. But like, I just have, like, there are just certain things, like, you know, you said, like, hygiene, like, you know, we say it and we laugh, but it's a real thing because we don't know people's backgrounds and how they grew up and things that they feel like are like our norms might just not be a norm for people, even as adults, you know.
That's true.
A lot of men, if they're single, they're in their own home, they're living in these bachelor pads. We don't know what that looks like.
Yeah. That's true.
That space, and it's stale in there, and it's like, wait.
Yeah.
You know, it could be so many different levels to it, but I think I'm open. And again, I just close with God knows our desires. He knows what we are attracted to. And he'll also open our eyes to things that we might have never thought that we would have been attracted to, because the personality could shine through over anything else.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right. With that, and then listening to you say those things, I mean, those are like some things that you really want and that you really desire. I think that's okay. Personally, I had braces or whatnot. I didn't have the best grip. You know what I mean? And
I got them off 2 years ago.
And I I appreciate the process. I remember a dentist once telling me, he said, sis, it was a black guy. He said, you got to get braces. And he was like, I'm telling you, he's like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm not making, you need to do it. He's like, because you're going to go so much further in life by doing that. Because when people see that you haven't taken the time to take care of your mouth, they're going to think that you haven't taken care of you. And then people are also going to look at you and judge maybe your background. Maybe her family couldn't afford to get her braces. She must have come from poverty.
Oh, wow.
You know what I mean? So I don't think there's anything wrong with, having those like standards. I'm not the best. I've had guys tell me, and I thought about this when we were talking about why we are single. I've had guys I dated tell me that they hate the way I dress. One of my exes, my recent ex, he was mad at me about something random. He was like, whatever he said, whatever. He's like, you can't dress. After following that, and I just bust out laughing, and I'm like, I'm just I'm not the most fashionable person, but bring me a fashionable man. You know what? Bring me a pocketbook. Let's go shopping. I'll be happy. I'll be happy to to be the best dressed when I walk in. Tilt the room. Come on, help me out.
I do tilt the room.
That brings me to exactly what I think we're created to be, right? So as women, we were created to make a house a home, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we may get a guy who is a bachelor and his place is just not where it's at. However,
Right.
he just don't have that in him, because that's why his other half needs to have that, right?
In the back.
You get a man who can put it together all the way. Well, God created his wife to get him the way that she needs him to be, or she may just be okay with how his whole vibe is. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So I think as women, I feel like if a man, to a degree, we are there to help flourish and vice versa. So if there's something about me that I'm lacking, I pray my husband be like, hey babe, like, you know what I mean? Like this, that, and the other. And I'm gonna help you take care of that. Like what Iesha just said, like, hey, let's go get what, you know what I mean? Because for sure, I know for sure we can make our men look a way that we want them to look. And they'll be open to it because it'll be attractive to us. You know what I mean? And they want to make us happy.
Right.
So they're going to do what they have to do to make sure we're attracted, and not just in the bedroom. Because this is my thing. Men can start positioning themselves, and they'll adjust themselves for the bedroom, but they want to adjust themselves. Let me not say they don't. They need to keep in mind that adjust themselves outside of the bedroom too. Right?
Yeah.
So if they're open to that, and they're open to listening to what you need to make yourself tick and make yourself smile and wink at them, how they gonna do it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And if they don't, you gotta ask God for them desires on your heart to be okay with what you see and what you get.
Right.
But for me, I'm okay with the dress. Like I'm excited to be my man's stylist. Like I love doing that. Like I love that. I love to, hey, let's go do a little bit of working out. You know what I mean? Or are you even open to it? If you open to it, you don't have to have the perfect chiseled body either. Like I don't even like muscles like that anyway. So long as you're okay with drinking some almond milk, like I'm not finna drink no. You got to be open to it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to just be. If you're open, we can click. Like we can do it. I want to talk about our father's influence, whether it be positive or negative or both. You want to go ahead and add some things to the things you've realized in yourself as a woman, and the things that could play a part in maybe moving forward with your husband, or also the things that could be playing a part while you're single. You guys would just touch on that any type of way you want to, but just surrounded around the presence of your fathers or not fathers not being there, in the positive and the negative, that it has affected you or will affect you moving forward in a positive way too in your marriage.
I did not grow up with my father. He passed when I was a year old. And so I had father influences through uncles, godparents, and stuff like that. I definitely think that has played a major role in my uncertainty of knowing exactly what I'm looking for sometimes, or knowing what that package should look like and how I should be treated and things to look out for. I've been blessed to have, like I said, uncles and godfathers who do a great job. But it's a little bit different, I think, to my friends that grew up with the man actually in the house.
Right.
And so, I think ultimately it has to do, the way that it's affected me is not maybe knowing certain standards or certain just signs of knowing. Like my friends who have dads that they grew up in the house with, I feel like they are able to model, like I want someone who's just like my daddy,
Yeah.
and I don't have that, but I can look to the people that I did have, specifically my godfather, one of them in particular. He is a strong man of God, super strong. And I'm able to reference that. And that's probably like the strongest thing for me that I can say, I know. And then, just an upstand, a very fun, a very loving, caring, the way that he treats his family, the way that he dotes on his children, and the way he dotes on me, because he didn't have children until well after I was born. So I was his first baby technically.
Yeah.
And so with that, I've been able to kind of mirror that. And so I think that's something that, although I was missing, I've found ways to, be able to implement, what I think it should look like as it pertains to dating.
Okay.
My dad has always been like in my life or whatnot. He wasn't in the home for the most part. Him and my mom like separated when I was very young, about 4 years old. And my dad's history of he struggled with his identity, right? His whole life from childhood. And he's had a lot of issues with that. And I think that's had a ripple effect on how his life played out, right? He wouldn't mind me sharing the story. And as a result, I don't think he really knew how to be a father. And a lot of people don't, but I don't think he had men in his life when he was maybe about, 10 to 15, 5-year period. There was a man in his life, but he struggled with identity and who he was. So I don't think he was able to show up in the way that we need as a daughter needs her father. Those critical years. But in my adulthood, my dad is awesome. He is beyond amazing and shows up in ways that I cannot look. And he had the opportunity to spend some time with him. And he's very open and he listens. And I could, if I had to choose whether or not my dad showed up for me as a child or right now, I'm so happy that he's here right now. That it really, really means the world. And not to say he didn't show up when I was little, but not necessarily in that instructional capacity that a child may need. Yeah. To dating or whatnot, we're totally different. I go to my dad, talk to him about how I'm feeling or whatnot, about being single, especially at this age. And I remember one time recently, he said, well, Iesha, I didn't want to tell you this, but when you went off to college, I knew it was going to be a hard time for you to find anybody. You know what I'm saying? Because men struggle with having someone that is on the same level and playing field, as them. And I was like, what? like just because I went to college, I'm automatically excluded from a certain pool of men. But in reality, it does make sense. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Like, I'm a different caliber of woman. So what I want in a man is going to be, I'm not willing to accept a lot of things, just because of who I am. And he gets that. So I can appreciate that. So, my dad, he's been in my life. I've had a stepdad in my life. When I was young, my mom was really, really dominant, and so she took care of like everything. And they just sit there, like, well, not my dad, stepdad, drink his beer, or whatever. He showed up, but it was just different or whatnot.
Wow.
So my parents were divorced when I was 2. So my biological dad, I don't have like a real relationship with. I always tell people he's kind of like a distant uncle. Like I know he exists. I talk to him once every few years, but there's no actual relationship there. But I have someone that I call my dad who's also been in my life since I was 2 years old. And he's been to every milestone for me, every graduation, buy my first car, talk to every boyfriend that I've had. So, I mean, he fulfilled that role despite the fact that he's not my blood father. So I always felt like I had a dad because of that. But I will say he's not married to my mom. He's literally just my mom's friend, who doesn't have children of his own. And he kind of like made the decision to make me his child. And we were even entertaining adoption at one point, but my mom was like, I don't want to change her last name to be different from mine. So in my heart, he's my dad. He's my earthly dad. He's the one that I feel like God has blessed my life with, to have a father figure. With that being said, I do feel like there was some things that were missed because I also did not grow up in a household where I had married parents to see the dynamics of a marriage and what that looks like.
Yeah.
You know, for some people, it's better sometimes, depending on if the marriage is toxic or if there's physical abuse. Sometimes it's better for kids not to see those sorts of things. But I do feel like, because I've always looked at like my friends that do have both parents, I've always watched their marriages growing up to kind of give me some insight on what that's like. I've always admired larger families for that reason, because it was literally just myself and my mom when I was growing up. So I do feel like there's some things that are missed by not having a physical marriage modeled in front of me, that could or could not have impacted my dating life, or even not being married at this very point. So that's what I'll say. I'll say that I feel like I have a dad. He's very much involved in my life. He's very much involved in my relationships, and throughout my entire life, even now as an adult, he always knows things before my mom does, because I feel more comfortable telling him and kind of using him as the filter, and sometimes even as the messenger to tell my mom if I'm scared or something like that. But yeah, so I have a dad, but I will say there's always that piece missing when you don't have the marriage modeled in front of you inside of your home.
That's really good.
Yeah, that's good. My dad has been in my life, in my entire life that I could just remember. However, he was not in the home. Like Iesha said, you know, he's there. I know how his voice sounds. You know what I mean? Like he's been there, but just not in my home. So he and my mom broke up when I was like a year and a half. So I said this before on my page before. I posted something about being in a single parent's home or whatever, and seeing my mom be the dominant, seeing her be the independent. So I kind of drew from that. But then at the same time, I had uncles. I had my grandmother's marriage that I saw, and I saw her and her husband, which became my granddad. I saw how that looks. I saw how a man could be domesticated too. You know what I mean? Not just her. So I saw some things in my grandmother's marriage that I said, I like that. You know what I mean? Like I see that works for me too. So even though I didn't see it with my mom or my dad, or even within my dad's marriage, my dad now is on his 3rd marriage. So his first 2 wives, I didn't really see relationships within that. So I didn't even know how he exists within marriage as well. I never seen him function in marriage until his 3rd marriage. And this most recent marriage now that he's been in this marriage for over, I don't know how many years now, maybe over 8, 9, I don't know. But I see him share a little bit because my dad is ex-military. So he is ex-army, and he's retiree, and he's like Mr. Army man. You know what I mean? So he's very strict in the way. He doesn't really show a lot of emotion. As you can think of, military guys are very just, you know, they're very, you know, they can have fun a little bit, but they're very to the T. So I think my effect on my dad, the positives and the negatives from him that I'm pulling from, is that there's some things in my dad that I really don't like in men. And there's some things about him that I do. So when it comes to strict thing and not having fun and being so strict, like I as you can see, like, I don't like that part. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I want you to have fun. I want you to embrace having a sense of humor and just live in the moment a little bit and not be so focused on the mission. You know what I mean? Which I saw in my uncles. So both of my uncles, who are my top favorite uncles, they're passed away now. So, but I did see that within them, and it impacted me to have men who have sense of humor, a little bit more than my dad has. But at the same time, the positives in my dad, for him to be away in the military and traveling and staying in Germany and always going in other places, growing up, it made me see that I could be independent when my husband does have to leave and do something for work, that I can love from afar, that I can have a relationship from afar. So long distance relationships for me will work.
That's
Waiting to marriage and stuff like that, it works because I know that love can still be there without the sex part involved, or even though that's like not dad and daughter thing, but just how it makes me think, you know what I mean? Him just being afar and still having a father figure there. So that's a positive for me. And for him to be in the Army, and he thinks of that automatically, he thinks of others way more than normal than himself. Yeah. You know what I mean? So that kind of aspect poured on to me too, a positive, that you have to care for others too. It can't just be about you, but not so strict like him, but you got to care for others too. So that's, and again, that's in my top 5. So there's some good and bad things about my dad. And like Iesha said, a dad who's in the prayer. I think my dad was a better dad when I was younger, because the things that I needed from him, I guess I got them not even knowing. The provider part, the giving part. I think now in my adulthood, I just need my dad to be a little bit more present emotionally, understand my faith, because my dad is not a Christian. Like I said, that's just my work as a Christian, is to just keep doing what I'm doing and try to do my best at pushing that in front of him. Not even pushing it, just informing him of faith, because I need that from him right now. I don't have family to pour into me when it comes to keeping my faith together. Like, I have to depend on that. Of course, myself, me and God, we had that. And that's why my relationship with God is so strong, because I don't have family to pour into me like that. I have to use people that God has sent me, friends of the family. You know what I mean? Because the one person I want to be there for me right now when it comes to that would be my dad, but it's not there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, for him to show up now in my adulthood would be amazing.
Yeah.
But that's not where we're at right now. And I know growth can happen in the future, but for him to be a God-fearing man would be amazing. So you have a woman who just has this dope relationship with God, but her family isn't. So this is why it's so important for me to date with purpose, and for me to have a man as my husband, to be a true man of God who has a relationship with God. That's why the dating with purpose is big for me. If you're gonna come into my life, I already have a challenge of forgiveness and to get my dad together. I don't need you two on that list. He's one of my biggest challenges already in my life. I can't have a man that I have to add to that too. Like, no.
It's too much.
I need you to be there with me to help pour into him.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And potentially help you navigate that other relationship as well.
Right.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Right. So it's just like, and that's why that's important. And that's why I'm still single. And that's why I choose real quickly and keep it moving, because I have other purposes besides me and you, baby. This is why that's why it's that important. You know what I mean? So not to go on and on and on and on and on. But I just want to throw that out there because it's important. Like, my husband is going to be a big, important part of my life. And that's why I'm so picky and so make sure I'm directed by God to make sure I choose the right person and listen to that spirit that tells me, yay, no, girl, no, get out the way, keep it moving. You know what I mean? So,
it's almost like it makes me think about just modeling behavior, because as much as you are the daughter and he is the father, role reversal happens at all ages and stages.
Absolutely.
Yes, it does.
So
Mm-hmm.
I see that happening. You know, your God fearing man comes in and you guys are walking in, you know, your faith walk together. And that image alone, that helps people look like, okay, wait a minute now. They got something going on there. And it could be infectious in a good way.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yep.
and that's true. I'm happy you brought that up because, and this is why that part of me being patient for the right man is so important, because it's bigger than me.
Yeah.
It's really to
Absolutely.
show people that God is real and that what I'm believing is faith that I'm believing, it is real. Because listen, I have a dad, like I am a woman who believes that I can wait to marriage and have a husband who agrees with that, who can actually wait and look forward to the honeymoon. You feel me?
Yes,
But then
ma'am.
when you have a dad who's always telling you like, hey, are you going to have a baby soon? It's like, did I invite you to the wedding yet? No. So no,
Right.
I'm not. You know what I mean? So I have to always tell him that. And I think he believes that you could do that because I did that. It's like, no, that's not what I want. The last conversation we had, which broke my heart, was, can you not have kids? And I was like, well, one, I got to have sex to do it. Number two, I told you I can't even get to that part until I get married. And number three, I'm not engaged. Number four, I'm not dating. So you're talking about way up there. I'm not even there yet.
Right.
You're not understanding. You know what I mean?
I get that.
So
Yeah.
once again, that is one of my motivations. One of many, on why I stand strong on what I believe in, and I'm not gonna break it. Like like for me, it's a generational thing I have to break, and I have to be that person for me in my moving forward. And not just generation in my bloodline, but in front of other people as well. And I'm okay to be used for that. You know what I mean? And I step up to the plate for that, and I'm cool with that. So yeah, child. But anyway, moving on to our last topic before we get into any like random discussion and end the call for the day, because we're all friends and different. I talk to Iesha a lot, and I know Steph, you talk to Leeza a lot. So what is it that we can tell each other real quick and brief about each other when it comes to being single? What would you want to tell your sister?
I would say to continue to walk in your authority and your purpose, because, you know, there's a light that shines that is specific for you, and your person, whoever your life partner, your helpmate is going to see you because of that. And just to continue to walk in the way in which you've been steady, because and I'm specifically talking to Leeza, there is a way that you approach situations with your standard that is so set and steady that I look at, you know, as a friend, to be like, you know, I got to be more like that. I got to be like more like Angie, in a sense of like, no nonsense, like it's a no from the jump. So, I mean, that's most of the advice that I can probably give, is just to continue to doing what y'all are doing, because I think we're headed in the right trajectory.
Leeza, to Steph, and then I guess to us. She done said a whole little thing for us. I
would say to Stephanie, and I mean, I feel like it'd be a bit of benefit to anybody, and I think I've said this to Stephanie before. I've just stressed the importance of being yourself, and being true to who you are, and not allowing anybody to kind of take you off your mark as it pertains to that. That way you give the person the opportunity to fall in love with the real you. And I've said this to Stephanie before. I'm like, whatever you got going on, somebody's rocking with exactly that. And the guy that God has designed for you is looking for you, just you, not a facade of you, not a representative of you, not just your best self, just exactly what you are and what you embody. You guys, all three of you are beautiful women, and I feel like there is a man designed for exactly what you bring to the table. So you'd be doing yourself a disservice to be anything other than
that. Girl, that's a clip for all us. But
okay, so Angie, I think you're living the purpose-driven life, right? You have found your purpose in life, and it's ever evolving, but you're making your mark and doing what you know God has placed on your heart to do. your partner is going to come and compliment and support that. One thing that I think you should do is you are a risk taker, right? She's been an entrepreneur since we got out of college. You have no problem jumping and taking risks when it comes to making business moves and getting things done. I suggest you take that same approach and apply it to your dating life. To be more, take more risks, right? Just jump, just do it. And start with maybe even doing some online like dating or like a matchmaker service or whatnot, and just have fun in your dating experience. And as your friend, and to all of you ladies, if I had a crown here, I would give each one of you guys a crown because you are all. And as queens, your king should be able to come and give you a crown and put that crown on your hand and love you the same way. So, you know, just keep doing what you're doing, Angie, and rock your crown, girl, till your queen, until your king comes. Your king doesn't make you a queen. You are already a queen.
Amen to that.
Girl, don't have me. To Iesha. So this is something we always talk about, and this is something I always tell you. You are already embodying what your husband needs. You know what I mean? You already have everything that you need to be able to love on him. And I understand you don't want to give away the cow before he purchased the cow, give away the milk or whatever it is. And I told you love so hard. You are a lover. And that sometimes I sit back and like, dang, like Iesha can love, child. You got to take some notes on how to be more open, Angie, like Iesha, and just, like you said, a risk taker. You know what I mean? Like you do that. And that's something I look at and I take notes. Like low key, I be taking notes. I tell you sometimes, girl, I gotta live through you when it comes to dating, because honey, I don't have that life. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't want you to adjust yourself. Only time I want you to adjust yourself is for you, and adjust yourself to make yourself better for you, not for no dude. Just because he said you don't know how to put on a pair of jeans and a tee, you know what I mean? Forget him. The right one would love you the way you need to be, who you are authentically. And if he feel like he want to add some little sauce to you, he would. But I think the right man will appreciate Iesha for Iesha. Like Leeza said, like who you are is enough. You don't have to add on no layers. You don't have to strip yourself of your authenticity. I don't care, even if it is from your past. You don't have to strip that part to attract a man and try to keep him. You just breathe and be you and adjust you and keep loving the way you love, because you love hard, and you do that, and the right man would appreciate that, period. You know what I mean? Everybody here, we are, man, just doing this has just reminded me, like, not only just being beautiful on the outside, but also the inside. To be able to have women right now who can talk about God and talk about their limitations and show that we're not perfect and we still have work to do. I'm just appreciative that you guys say that, yeah, the guys got to get their life together, but at the same time, we have to work on ourselves too. So my thing I want to tell you guys is, along with myself, is to continue getting to know who you are and who you want to be, and start going after who you want to be is, without a man being attached to it. And like Leeza said too, like all of you guys have said, the right man would know it, and he would know it. And when he know it, it ain't gonna be 5 years, 3 years for no engagement. You know what I mean? Because he gonna know it and he ain't gonna want to let it go. Y'all just continue being y'all. Y'all already dope women. That's why y'all on this call right now, because y'all already dope to me, period. You know what I mean? And the way you think, and the way you come off, and the way you care for people, man, just y'all hearts, period, is already more than enough to be on this call with and to do this thing with. And I just appreciate y'all. Anything else you guys want to add to the conversation or bring up that we haven't discussed, or something that's on your heart to say or talk about real quickly? This is definitely the time before we wrap up.
Well, I just want to say thank you. Thank you for putting it together. Thank you for thinking of me to, put on this, I call it a panel. I think it was a great discussion. I certainly got a lot of great nuggets from each of you or whatnot. And I don't know, I just feel like there's like so much more, right, that we didn't even get to touch on. But I really I'm very appreciative.
I echo Iesha's sentiments. I feel the same way. I'm appreciative. I'm thankful that you guys thought enough of me to include me to have the conversation. So, and I think, again, like, I think it was not just helpful to us, but of course we hope that it'll be helpful to other people as well. But the fact that we also were able to pull from this is something I'm also appreciative for as well, because each and every one of you also said something that I either connected with or confirmed something for me that you don't even know that I might be dealing with or struggling with. So my hope is that it'll have the same impact for anybody else who's viewing it as well.
Mira, the same things that the lady said. I'm grateful to be, asked to be a part of this. Grateful to just have this discussion with you all. It's been super enlightening. I've added some additional bullet points to all of my, non-negotiables and stuff like that. Because, it's reassuring because I talk with my girlfriends from all over the world all the time. And like, even, you'll have family members or people who are, especially our older folks, who will ask like, well, what you got going on or what y'all doing? And it's just like, when I look and I think about all of us are beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Black and beautiful and educated and God-fearing and all these different levels to it, but we're all kind of in the same and similar journey right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's so powerful because we're readying ourselves, and we have put ourselves in a position, or God has put ourselves in a position to wait for the right thing. Even when I can honestly say I probably wouldn't have chosen to wait, right? But sometimes when he puts us in, places where we are forced to just sit still, and be still and know, like they say, it's just really, this is a manifesting period. Even if we don't see the fruit happening right now, I definitely feel like, this was great for such a time as this quarantine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like bring this up and just get my mind working and, tooling around and thinking about like, what's next? What do I need to be meditating on? So thank you.
Agree.
You're welcome, girl. This has just been first. I want to thank all of y'all because all of you guys said yes from the beginning. Like, even though I didn't physically reach out to Leeza, I told Steph, I said, Steph, I need you to ask. I don't know if she's single or not, but I want you to ask. I don't know why I put, because again, I didn't even know nothing about Leeza's dating history or anything like that. I just knew of her. I know she's seen my real hair, people. You feel me? That's all I needed to know.
I see you in your real.
She seen me in person with my real hair, honey. So that's a big thing to me. So I was just like, I don't know, Steph, ask her and see. But I want to thank y'all because y'all said yes, like with no hands down, like, okay, cool. Like, what we going to do? You know what I mean? Because a lot of people are not open to sharing themselves with strangers. You know what I mean? But at the same time, knowing that you guys are women of God, I knew that you knew that there's bigger purpose outside of yourself. And there is something that you can say to somebody, even if it's just one body, one person, one mind, to ignite something in somebody to be okay with waiting it out and being patient, with just waiting for the person and not be so focused on doing and look at themselves sometimes and see, what is it I really want? Maybe I need to start working on my 5 top non-negotiables, or what work do I need to do, or just anything, you know what I mean? So I thank you guys, because you guys know I share on social media. I'm all over the internet. I talk. But for you guys to get out of your comfort zones, this is like big, because none of you guys are like, do this
at all.
Normal. Yeah, you may be on social, you may share here and there, but this is not like your thing for your dating life, all of that.
Your current status, all of that. Like everything. I was gonna say that too. Another reason why I'm grateful for this, this whole quarantine situation has forced me to be more flexible. And just doing this and being on video and talking about my personal life and stuff like that is not necessarily something I've always been comfortable with. So this is pushing me out of my comfort zone. And I feel like it was divine timing, because you guys asked me to do this at a time where I was willing to say yes, whereas I wasn't allowing any, you know, anxiety or fears to cause me to be like, oh, I don't really want to do that. You know what I mean? So I feel like the timing of this was ideal as well.
For I think all of us, and the mission of this was originally just to talk about being single during quarantine, what we're thinking about, how we are, where we're at currently, and hopefully this could just enlighten somebody. So with that being said, you guys, if anybody out there right now, if you have any comments, any suggestions, any type of topics that we have not hit today, but maybe you want us to discuss something, go ahead and comment below your questions or your concerns that you're having, discussing something that you're faced with right now. And maybe we can group together a few questions together and make another day that we can come and just touch on those. And maybe after this, us four can come together and see if we left something out on the table, something that we can, you know, come back and discuss. And it has to be around, of course, being a woman of God and waiting and not just waiting for marriage, but just waiting for the one for us, our husbands, and being single and stuff like that. So yeah, I just hope this blessed somebody out there. Like this video, comment below, turn on your notifications because this video is going to be chopped up in sections. And we just want to thank everybody who has watched this thing all the way through. And yeah, I have nothing else to say about this, but you know, and shout out to FAMU, because if it wasn't for FAMU, honey, we wouldn't even be
Hello.
I'm you, baby.
We need to add that part. Shout out to
You don't know what I'm gonna use. You don't know what I'm gonna use.
Oh Lord, the blue.
Oh, stop it! Can we get like a professional version of that?
So we're gonna go ahead and end the call, you guys. Again, thank you so much for being a part of this.
Thank
you guys.
Out. Y'all have a good day.
Love y'all.
All right.